Some huge news from the Wyatt Sicks today that will make a lot of people happy. First of all, it started off with a tweet of 3 words, but don't worry, there's a lot more. If we take a trip over to Uncle Howdy's journal, at the bottom, 3 new entries, the same that was on the tweet. The first one was Anteco. A house built upon sand cannot stand. The winds blow and the foundation crumbles. They weaken as we slumber, a snake swallowing its own tail. Blinded by misguided anger, in time you will see. Almost certainly a message for Karrion Kross in the Final Testament. When they say about the snake biting its own tail, I think they mean instead of embracing the Miz, Karrion Kross continues to basically blackmail the Miz and threaten the Miz. Also addressing the absence of the Wyatt Sicks by talking about them being in slumber. And obviously, while they're away, they're not doing anything, yet the house of the Final Testament is falling down around them. Next up, it's Heisukiya. Now this one's interesting. In the stillness we breathe, we reflect, heal. Do not let your mind become overtaken by darkness. You are not forsaken nor forgotten. We are all on this journey together. You are seen. In time, you will see. Now, thinking outside the box a little bit, I think this is in reference to Alexa Bliss for multiple reasons. That statement doesn't feel like Howdy talking to an enemy. It sounds like he's talking to a friend. Then, Heisukiya is actually a Greek goddess. By saying the line, do not let your mind be overtaken by darkness, I wonder if that's in reference to the dark, evil, supernatural Alexa Bliss, because the Wyatt Sicks are grounded in reality, so if Alexa's going to return with them, she would need to be too. And the final one, Ecdycasis. Be not mistaken, my wrath will be swift. I do not forget the taste of blood in my mouth. Consequences are inevitable. Clearly, Uncle Howdy talking about getting revenge, talking about that loss to the Wyatt Sicks, how that still is tasted in his mouth, and now he wants revenge. Now, why is this so important? Because a lot of you will be saying, oh, but the Wyatts aren't even on TV. That's the point of what we get here. With the Wyatt Sicks, we have seen now dozens of times where they'll go quiet, and then they'll say something on social media, the journal will update, and then the following week, something big happens. So potentially this upcoming Raw could be very interesting. Huge news regarding Becky Lynch is from Sean Rossap and FightfulSelect.com. Becky Lynch has signed a new WWE contract. It's also worth noting that Fightful Select report that Becky Lynch was not planned for the big Raw on Netflix show. There was a report out there from another outlet that said that Becky Lynch actually got scrapped from that Monday Night Raw and that she was replaced with the appearance by The Undertaker at the end of Rhea vs. Liv. But apparently that's not true, and apparently Becky just was never planned for that show, which does kind of make sense. So we are still due a return from Becky Lynch. When that will be, we don't know. We also found out this week from Sheamus himself talking to Chris Van Vliet that he has signed a new 5-year contract with WWE. Sheamus going nowhere anytime soon. 5 more years of Sheamus in WWE. Some huge news regarding the debut episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Some outlets are reporting it is the most watched episode of Monday Night Raw ever, with outlets like Forbes reporting that Raw dethroned Squid Game in Netflix top 10 list. That is incredible, a genuine shock for a lot of people. Now, how many people that equates to, we genuinely don't know. Television ratings obviously aren't a thing on Netflix, and they very rarely actually publish data that tells you the numbers of the amount of people watching. And obviously Netflix is looking at this as a global outreach with a global audience. So obviously that's a lot of people worldwide potentially watching Raw. It's just a shame then that one of the biggest talking points after this episode of Raw, and I mean one of the biggest car crashes in WWE TV history, was the return of Hulk Hogan. And the fans booing Hogan out of the building. We have seen the Pat McAfee show making fun of Hogan, saying that it was Jimmy Hart that received all the boos, that everyone loves the Hulkster brother, and so many major outlets and news shows talking about this moment and only this moment. That's a real shame, because there was a lot of good stuff on this episode of Raw, but the attention is with Hogan. But interestingly, the Daily Mail is reporting that WWE may capitalise off of this and use Hogan as a heel going forward. I don't know if they're actually got sources for that, or they're just making it up and just having some fun with wrestling terminology. I don't know. Remains to be seen. Nikki Bella, who appeared on that episode of Raw, has commented about her return to WWE TV, stating that WWE is home. Any problems between her and WWE have now been squashed, and how she was happy to be back within the WWE family. Nikki Bella in the Royal Rumble, potentially? That's the question a lot of fans are now asking. On Raw, we also got the first tease of WWE 2K25, with Roman teasing something will happen on Monday, January 27th, with 2K then sending out an email saying that details would drop on January 28th. So I'm going to assume the cover reveal on the 27th, then possibly the trailer on the 28th. Well, we did get our first look at some WWE superstars in the game, including Bayley, Cody Rhodes here with a new championship, CM Punk, Damian Priest, and everyone's favourite, Liv Morgan, who may not be the women's champion now, but we can all say he was the greatest women's champion of all time. Talking of women's championships, with Julia winning the NXT women's title last night, with Tiffany winning the WWE women's title on Friday Night SmackDown, and Rhea defeating Liv for the world title on Raw, all three major WWE women's championships changed hands in 1 week. A new era begins. It's also a new era for Netflix, as you can change your profile icon to your favourite WWE superstar. Very, very cool. Yes, mine's definitely Liv. There are apparently no plans for WWE to continue the Tribute to the Troops show. This has been like an annual tradition for WWE for a while now, but it seems that it will be no more. News on The Rock, obviously electrifying us on both Raw and NXT this week. However, every major outlet is reporting that The Rock may not be at WrestleMania, with no hard plans in place for The Rock at WrestleMania as of today. However, they all state that that can change quickly. If The Rock says, hey, I want to do this at WrestleMania, it will be done. So, will The Rock be at WrestleMania? We don't know. Yes, it's possible he is. Just because there are no plans doesn't mean it's a hard no. We'll probably find out in the very near build to WrestleMania. And I had to mention this. Obviously, the other day we spoke about the Royal Rumble 2026 is going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Well, one WWE superstar is prepared for it. Wendy Chu has her attire ready. Oh my God, that is brilliant. We've seen her dressed in this before, but let's do it. Why not? But there is your Wednesday WWE news, heavily focused on Raw, as you can imagine. That is the big news this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace!